All right, so we're at Hager Park. Here's our Dutchman's breeches. Really cute. Usually these are early, so they're ending quick, so you got to get out quick if you want to see any of these. But the leaves are real distinctive, but there's a lot of stuff that looks like this, so they're not really distinctive. So that flower, super easy. Trout lily, wild ginger, lots of wild ginger. Spring beauty. We've done these before, so asymmetrical, strongly pinnate. Remember what I mean by asymmetrical? These are really small, so it's hard to see that. But see the asymmetrical. There's a bunch of the trout lily flowers and a ton of the spring beauties. Remember, spring beauties have the linear leaves and the pretty flower. If we come over here, this is the allium. These wild leeks. A lot of people would eat these, but don't unless there's a bunch of them because it's bad. But these would be great for your sandwich. They're kind of a garlicky, oniony taste to them. We've got right here. Oh, I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on poison ivy. This is Virginia waterleaf, and see how it's got the water specks? It's oddly pinnate leaves. This water speck though is real distinct. We might be able to find some flowers, but the leaves are real distinct just by themselves because of that water speckled look to them. There's usually a couple. So since we're here, maple, opposite leaves. U-shaped. So this is a sugar maple. Lots of so this is your raspberry. So it's the oddly pinnate, it's got the thorns, and then you'd really know it because it would have raspberries. There's lots of violets through here. We should be able to find some violet flowers. So tons of the Dutchman's breech and the allium. Again, there isn't enough though that I would suggest eating it. If you had a ton of it, then that would be okay. Now we've got a lot of the Virginia waterleaf. And again, the mottled leaves. These will get quite a bit bigger. They'll get 4 times that size. They're just coming out right now. But it's nice because they've got that cool foliage look to them. Here'd be one. This isn't on your list, and it's not one I've asked, but it's if you look, it's got tons of stamen and tons of little pistils. This is going to be a Ranunculaceae family. It's going to be some type of anemone, and you could key some of those out yourself. Oh, they're not flowering yet, but this is, I pointed out on campus, they're just starting. These are Solomon seal. These are actually going to be a false Solomon seal. So again, a long stalk with then leaves. Oh yeah, this one's better. This is actually a true Solomon seal. You can actually see the buds are just coming, and they're coming from the leaf axis. If it was a false Solomon seal, it would be at the tip. And I'm pretty sure this is a true one, and I'm pretty sure that's a false one. But there's a spot up here where they're usually growing right next to each other. So hopefully they will be. Like big ones in flower. Beautiful spring beauty. Lots of the Virginia waterleaf, lots of spring beauty. Okay, so here's one we saw in my yard. I love this one. It's the bloodroot, and again, this is one of the first flowers. Real distinct leaves. This part of it looks like the wild ginger, but then it's got the fingers on it. Nothing else does that. Lots of cherries. Different type of cherry. There are a lot of different species of cherry. Remember, cherry have the real distinct lenticels. They've got the stipules on them, and then you would know them by the flowers, and we don't have flowers, so we can't you know. Okay, now this, if you grabbed a couple leaves from the center of this, I wouldn't feel that guilty. Now, if everyone did that, then you would feel guilty. But that's your leeks. If you got a big patch like that, eat one, no big deal. Mayapple, peltate. This is a great park to come to just because there's so many of these cool wildflowers. So again, none of the Virginia waterleaf, the mayapple, the leeks, the Dutchman's breeches, trillium. So now we got trillium that are open. So this is the grandiflorium. So it's the big showy trillium. They'll get bigger than this. They're just opening. There's usually a couple nodding ones around too. They're usually a little bigger. I'll see if I can find some. Okay, so this isn't on your list. This is going to be another type of, well, let's look. There's lots of stamen, lots of unfused pistils. So this is going to be another Ranunculaceae. It's a type of anemone in the general sense. It's not the genus anemone. I'm not going to tell you it's one you could do yourself. Lots of violets. Remember, violets are edible. So, okay. This is the false salmon seal. Okay, so here's the nodding trillium. See how it's pointing down. So that's the nodding trillium. You don't need to know the difference between them, but that's the nodding. The yellow flowers, I'll just do this off the trail a little more. These are another Ranunculaceae. So lots of stamen, lots of pistils. Now, ranunculus or buttercups also have fairly distinct leaves that usually have three. They're usually, see how this is the leaf for it. They're kind of in three big lobes. They're real. It's kind of in between dissected and or compound leaves and just really deeply lobed. So that's a ranunculus or a buttercup, sorry. Here we've got running strawberry. We should see tons of these, lots of places. It's a euonymus, is the genus, and they hug the ground. They've got opposite leaves. We'll find some flowers on it. Here's some flowers on it. Usually they don't stick up. Usually they hug the ground. They're not very pretty flowers. They're interesting flowers, but they're not like showy. Again, lots of maples, lots of Virginia waterleaf, lots of spring beauty. This dissected stuff is just an invasive. It would be a good one to key out if you were doing stuff, because it's good to kill them all. There's a bunch of geranium, but we should see them flower in a minute. These are all wild geranium, but they're not open yet. There's the buds, but not the... So geranium have palmate leaves, and then these will have real pretty purple flowers that look like the geranium you'd buy in the store because they're the same genus. We should find some in flower. So, this one right here is skunk cabbage. Skunk cabbage is really easy because it's just well, it's not easy because it just looks like a oval leaf. But if I grab this and smelled it, it stinks. It smells like skunk cabbage. It smells like skunk. So that's skunk cabbage. This is when I show you the running strawberry, it's euonymus. This is also a euonymus. This is coming from the yard next door. It's an invasive, but it's got the opposite leaves, real kind of leathery leaves. So that's euonymus in general, and it's a common garden plant that then can escape, and that's what's happening here. It can be quite invasive, quite hard to get rid of, but it's usually reproducing all asexually, so it doesn't take over like lots of forest. It takes over parks next to stuff. Lots of wild ginger. There's usually nettles right here, but I don't see them. That looks like a poison ivy. Lots of raspberries through here. Raspberries. Not on today's list, but in a future list. We'll see it multiple times. This is cow parsnip. It's huge. This will get taller than me, and it'll have a big umbel inflorescence, and it's got these huge leaves that are fairly distinct with the three leaflets, and they're real big, and then each leaflet is then kind of in threes as well. It's just so big that it makes it unique because of that. A bunch of the buttercups. Again, you can see them a little better here because they're kind of more by themselves. And you can see the leaves are quite distinct with the three parts to them. And then they're real cute. Everyone likes buttercups. And there's quite a few of them through here. I showed you the ivy in my yard, and see, this came from the yard and it's starting to take over the park. So don't plant ivy by a park. Here's your running strawberry. This is more typical of what it looks like. It usually hugs the ground. So again, it's euonymus, so it's these opposite leaves. They're fairly leathery. Here's a salmon seal. they're little tiny ones just coming up. So this would be a true salmon seal, and it's got 2 flowers coming from each leaf axis, but these leaves alternate back and forth. We should find a false salmon seal in a moment. In flowers, hopefully. There's lots of wild chives. I would eat it, but we're right next to the trail, and my wife will get mad at me. This is opposite leaves, and this would make a cyme. So this is a viburnum. It's actually maple leaf viburnum. Beautiful Virginia waterleaf all through here. Looks like someone planted this. You can actually buy Virginia waterleaf for your yard because it's got such kind of pretty foliage. Is that the owl? Cool. All right. They don't have flowers. Okay, no, this is the true salmon seal. You can see the flowers at the end. So I could have been wrong earlier. The false salmon seal is real obvious because of the end. When I say the salmon seals, there's multiple species of them. So here's the nodding trillium. Unfortunately, it's not open yet. But see how it's hanging down? I mean, look at that. I mean, that is really, it's just about to open, but it's hanging down. It's really just interesting. The grandifolium, the one that comes up, is prettier in the sense, but these are just interesting. Oh, they're not doing it. Okay. If you just shoot across, I mean, this is all the spring beauty, Dutch, well, some anemone mixed in, Dutchman's breeches. This is a great park early spring. It's a great park early spring. Some of these flowers will end in there's a couple other, it's bumming me out because the wood phlox and the wild geranium usually are starting right as these end. I was hoping to catch both, but we're not. So let's just go through our list real quick. So again, we didn't do the Christmas fern, so it's bumming me out, but I've got some in my yard next week. Ginger, we did. I didn't do white lettuce. We did lots of mayapple. We saw running strawberry. We saw lots of Dutchman's breeches. I showed you wild geranium, but not good enough. We saw lots of Virginia waterleaf. We saw some bloodroot. I didn't point out blue wood phlox. We'll see that there's a ton of it here. It's just not open yet. I didn't point out smartweed. Lots of spring beauty. We saw Galium before. I haven't pointed any out, so we'll see it later this week. Usually there's a bunch of wood nettle. It's not out yet. We've seen lots of violets. I'm bummed that we haven't seen a jack in the pulpit yet. I've been looking for them, but I haven't seen it yet. We'll see it at other places. It's real common. We saw the one skunk cabbage, lots of trout lily, lots of trillium. We saw lots of the true salmon seal. I haven't pointed out the starry salmon seal yet. Again, it'll look just like the other, but it'll have flowers at the tip, not from the leaf axis. I showed you some carex earlier this week, or last week. I haven't even showed poison ivy, which is a good thing, but we'll see it lots of places. Virginia creeper I haven't pointed out either. They're both come out right around the same time. Grapevine, usually there's some big, we'll point them out later. We've seen lots of sugar maple. I haven't pointed out ash. It's everywhere. We'll see it other places. Black cherries all around us right now. Let's expand out. See the trunks of the trees, the black trunks with the again, that looks like burnt potato chips. there's a bunch of them here, and I pointed out a ton of black cherry. And then basswood I didn't point out, but I did on campus, and elm I pointed out on campus as well. So that's it. That ends today. Make sure to be safe.